Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Family Matters Relationships with Waithira Kibinda. I am your host, Waithira Kibinda. We talk with and to young people, teens, young families, maybe on your first job, and our conversations are heartfelt, insightful, and empowering. We look forward to engaging with you continuously in this season as we seek and learn more about relationships in whatever form there might be. Today, our conversation is inspired by Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, which says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children. Do not lead them to anger, but raise them, discipline them in the instruction of the Lord." Well, many times, myself being a parent, I feel I have failed sometimes. So today I am joined by the experts themselves so that both you and I can learn. I'm joined by Shalom Munyiri, a parenting coach, educator, author, and many things. She's going to tell us what she does. And also by Najma Thande, the expert herself. She's the reason why we are here today. A young person. She's a certified software engineer and aspiring forensic analyst. I think if I got it right. So on cybersecurity matters. Well, I'm learning every day. So, Shalom. Karibu sana to Family Matters.
Thank you so much. I'm
Welcome,
glad to be
Najma.
here.
Thank you. Yes, I'm so glad you made time. So, you're a parenting coach, you're an educator, you're a trainer, you run a company, you're a director, and then you still pay your taxes and breathe. You're like so many things. So please tell us what constitutes a day in life of Shalom Munyiri. What does that look like? And yeah.
I don't have a regular day.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'm a counseling psychologist also. So in the process of doing therapy, I'll meet all sorts of people, handle all sorts of cases. So really, I wouldn't say that I have a typical day.
Yeah.
So if we try and see the range of days I have, there are those that are, the serious work where I'll be working in the therapy space and therefore counseling and seeing clients. Yeah. And then there are days when I'm speaking. Like you said, I'm a speaker, trainer, author. So I run workshops. I'm passionate about basically seeing generations connect with each other.
Wow.
And so you find that sometimes I'll be running a workshop in an organization, just trying to see how the generations within the organization can cope, but also worrying and helping them, equipping them with managing their mental wellness.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So, because that's another area I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
And then there are days I will be sitting bumming.
Yes.
Doing absolutely nothing except reading, enjoying, just getting to the social media space, catching up with these friends of mine and all. Yeah, I do game nights. Yeah. So my day can be full bumming and then game nights. So really, I have a whole variety of days.
And what you're not mentioning is that you've been at this for 25 years.
More than
25 years.
Yes.
Disregarding that you were born with a passion itself.
Yeah.
So, wow. And then there's Najma Thande, a certified software engineer and an aspiring cyber security analyst. My God, break it down.
Yes, so from a very young age, I was interested in technology, computers. I would open up computers, phones, just to find out what was happening.
To find who speaks inside the radio.
To just see what is happening behind behind the tech and the computers. Yeah. And even when I would get a new phone, I would spend hours before I even call anyone. I would spend hours just finding out how that phone works. And everything, like the hidden features it has. Yeah, so I decided I'm gonna take that and learn software engineering. Now, software engineering is basically building software, websites, apps, all those things. Name anything to do with coding. Yeah, so I got a certificate with that. And to take things further, I decided I'm also gonna try on cybersecurity.
Yes.
So yeah, currently right now, cybersecurity, and ethical hacking.
And ethical hacking, very important.
Ethical hacking, yeah. So I'm currently studying that. And we'll see where it goes.
Well done. So that, we'll break it down and say that's the hardware part of Najma. there is the software part of Najma, which is working with young people, interacting with young people, mentoring. Tell me a bit about that.
I have also gone for several talks with Shalom, Auntie Shalom.
Oh, we call her Auntie Shalom.
We call her Auntie Shalom.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to speak to different age groups and just understand their relationships with their parents and how they go about that. And for myself, I have been through it, so I have a bit of advice to give some of the people.
Yeah. So Shalom, over to you. And Shalom, Coach Shalom, allow me, if you may.
Yeah.
What, when you speak with people, when you speak with parents, when you speak with teenagers, what is the main, or what's the foundation of conflict between teens and their parents or their guardians or the society?
If I were to summarize it, they just don't get each other.
Why are we not getting each other?
I mean, gosh, there would be so many, let me say communication first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's like they speak totally different languages. They should be speaking the same language, to be speaking to each other, but communication. Parents are not getting the teens and the younger children. The children are not getting where the parents are coming from. So I think the biggest thing is miscommunication, so that even when there's conflict over, let's say, dressing or other decisions or homework not done, depending. It's how we tell it. It's how we take that feedback. It's how we are passing on the instruction. Yeah. So we have parents yelling all the time or instructing or talking at the child. So you find, I'd say communication and that breakdown in communication is the base of why there's so much conflict.
When I was in high school, our teacher would say, you talk or I talk, or who hear who? You talk, I talk. Who is hearing?
Yes.
Who's hearing the other person?
Yeah.
So a parent is maybe speaking English, the child is Mandarin, and we have to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Shalom.
And yet we have raised these people to talk back. You started talking to them as a baby.
Yes.
And they learned how to talk back.
Yeah.
And then they're seeing us talking back, talking at each other and talking to each other.
Yeah.
So you talk, we talk.
Who hear each other? Okay. Tell us an instance maybe that you felt I'm not heard or I needed your support as my parents, the conflict therein, and how did you guys just ride that wave?
I'd use school trips. Let's use school trips.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, again, I was homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I never got to be in groups to form friendship groups at some point. So I had to find a way of inserting myself into certain friend groups and, maneuver and do all those things. So my parents never understood that. And I am a sanguine.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I am a full sanguine.
Yeah.
I need people.
Yeah.
So because there was that misunderstanding and nobody would understand, why do you need to be outside? Why do you need that many friends? Why do you need to go for school trips with other people? So you're with us.
we are enough.
Yeah, we are. It's just us. Enjoy us, the four of us in the house, you'll be fine. Yeah. So having that conversation at that time, because I never had a say in anything, it's, I've said you're not going anywhere, you're staying here. So I can use that as an example.
Yeah. And how did that make you feel?
Oh, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. That made me, because I'm just okay, why would you refuse me to have friends? Why would you make me stay in the house?
Yeah.
And first of all, I'm homeschooled. I don't have friends.
Yeah.
Even leaving the house and going to play with people in the estate.
Yeah.
At that time, my parents were like, hey, why do you need to? Because of, again, people who share things. Mom, I'm sorry to all of you, but there were things that were being circulated on Facebook, and because they would hear such things, my teenager has done this, my teenager has done that. What happens is they think now, because I'm a teen, every teen does what every parent has said out there. So they'll shield me and say, you're not leaving anywhere. Let's just stay. For your safety, just stay in my house. So that made me feel,
wow.
Yeah.
Like Coke in a bottle and you've been shaken.
Take me and then they've stuck me in a box and they've said you're not leaving.
But see how you turned out.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And we thank them for that again.
We thank them for that. I want to know, and I guess my audience also knows, because she's brought up something very interesting. Parenting styles. I have had them all. There is laissez-faire. Do you? We are good. There's helicopter, all around. I don't know what
I can't even catch up with the names.
I can't keep up anymore. Tell us about parenting styles and the impact and influence they may have on the young adult or teen.
Yeah. I think I would go to, if we could just go to the basic ones that were first before the helicopters came. Before the helicopters came, there was the authoritative parent, authoritarian parent, then permissive, and the one who's just not there, totally absent kind of thing. Now, the authoritarian is the one who says, it's my word. It's my way or the highway. And yes, there's no other way, right? And so this one will not listen. They say, these are the rules in my house. It's my house, my rules. You're going to do it this way. As opposed to getting to a place where you have a relationship and you're still the authority and you're passing on your values, which is what the authoritative parent does. The authoritative parent will still discipline.
Yes.
But they share values to the point that even the child understands this is where we are going. And they also understand when they have done something wrong and, that may need correcting. But then there's the permissive one who just says, let's go. Let's just do whatever it is. You'll be fine. It's okay. You will,
You'll adapt. You came with your own
sweetie DNA. Baby, those ones.
Yeah, those ones of calling children Baba.
Yeah, those ones. Yes.
Too soon.
And so there's that one. And then there's the one who's just not there.
Yeah.
And therefore, the children are raising themselves like Kenyaji, free-range chicken.
Oh, dear.
As long as you're home by this time, whatever you're doing during the day, we don't care. So that ends up influencing them negatively, positively, depending on who else is around
them.
Because we we make the mistake of thinking that because, quote unquote, we turned out right. That's a story for another. Let's just pack that statement.
Okay.
But when we see somebody thriving and yet their parents had a problem, we assume that everybody would be okay. But we forget to look at the teachers, the neighbors, the aunties, the uncles, the mentors, the coaches who are around this child, passing on values to them. So you find an absent parent has left this child to just grow up like a weed, but then there's other adults who have noticed and are helping them, survive and thrive and all that. So parenting styles influence children a lot. But societal support also
plays a big part
in it.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why, like when she's saying we've been through this, we've done all sorts, we've been through adventures with this girl where there's conflict and then we get to a chance to resolving it and then do that triangle. So I have been coach, mentor, auntie, big sister, mom, friend, whatever it is, co-parent in many ways. So you find there's value in having other people, whatever your parenting style, have other people also build this village around your children and you will survive.
Okay.
So the authoritative style is the best. The authoritarian will build resistance or lower the self-esteem of the child so much they can't even live effectively out there. They will not be able to stand up for themselves.
It's like a banana that needs to be,
propped kind of thing. And so you find that when they go out, when they start facing things like peer pressure, all they've learned to do is obey because I said so.
Oh.
So when they go out there, they can't speak back because they never learned to speak back.
Up, yeah.
So they end up bowing to peer pressure. Or resisting it so much that now they get in trouble because it's the only chance to resist authority. Since at home I can't. I might as well do it in school. And so we end up seeing very rebellious people. Sometimes we see very shy people.
And when you look at them, they look so sweet. Then you wonder, how in God's green earth did he do all these things?
Because they were raised to be two-faced.
Wow.
Yes. Two-faced. And it works always. There's children so parents will come and say, my child doesn't talk.
Yes.
My teenager is not saying anything.
Yeah.
Then I'm thinking, what do you mean? I mean, which one? Are you do you have another child? Or are we talking about the same one?
Yeah.
Because of how they come alive when they're in a friendly space, when they're in a safe space. They will totally come alive. At home, And when I ask children, again, because of the therapy space, when I ask what's going on, it says there's no point talking at home. Because if I talk at home, nobody hears me.
Wow.
So what's the point? I mean, they want me to say what they want me to say, not what I want to say. And I don't want to say whatever, so there's no point talking. So they end up looking two-faced, where I, the coach, will say, man, they're so hilarious, they're funny, they're talkative. Yeah. And they're thinking, but how come you don't do that at home? And then there are those who will be rebellious at home because they're trying to fight something. But when they're out here, they have the best manners. So we end up seeing very nice person, and at home they're seeing a horrible person. Why? They're trying to adjust to this mixing environment.
Wow.
Yeah. So they are being who the environment is being to them.
Is making them to be. Wow. And sometimes, if not always, the environment is stronger than the person.
Yes.
Najma, as a mom, we always say, you don't come with a manual as a child, you know, it's just what the environment is. So how did you snap out of it? How did you seek out Coach Shalom or Auntie Shalom? Yeah, what made you to be deliberate about being, if I may use the word, mentored and submit under that authority, but still be free to speak up?
I had started talking with Auntie Shalom, so I'm the kind of person, if something happens to me, I don't keep quiet. I'll go and I'll say it. So if it's not to my parents, I'll go to Auntie Shalom, and then we'll sit down and, you know, come up with ways to go past that.
What you're telling us is, as a young person, find a safe person.
Yes.
Whoever safe might be, because sometimes it's negative or positive, but we are praying for positive. So find that one person. So what drew you to Auntie Shalom? What did she have that you thought, oh, maybe this is a person I want to glean from?
She's been in my life literally for
so long.
And we've had conversations like that before. I was part of New Dawn. Also from her daughter as well. We'd sit down and talk and have different conversations. So from that I already knew the type of person I would go and pick. And also she has a very good relationship with my parents. So she was like the middleman. So I would go and talk to her. And then she'll find a way of breaking it down so that my parents can understand. Then from there we can have a conversation. So right now I'm able to sit down. If something happens in the house, I'm able to sit down with my parents and have a conversation and talk. Unlike before. Well done. Yeah.
I love it. We have talked about parenting styles, if you're authoritative, authoritarian, laissez-faire, and absent. We've also had an example from Najma Thande, who has spoken about just how it felt like being sheltered, and how she had to break out of that shell and seeking out for a mentor-mentee relationship. So let me tell you a bit about my guest. So Shalom Munyiri, or Coach Shalom, or Auntie Shalom, as Najma has said, is a parenting coach, educator, author, speaker, director, runs a company, and a counseling psychology with over 25 years experience. Yes, I'll trust her even with myself. And she does intergenerational connectedness, where parents, teens, young adults have to form a good relationship. And she plays a big part. I feel like you're a mediator between two warring factions.
A lot of the time.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
Yes, I find myself there.
Well done. And then we have Najma Thande. She's the expert today. And she's a young adult, a certified software engineer, and an aspiring cybersecurity analyst. And she mentioned that she does ethical hacking. Well, now let's bank that. Najma, while we were on break, you mentioned something about an experience that you felt didn't go very well. And because we reach out to young people and young families, people starting out first, be real with us. Tell us, give it to us as it is. Share that experience.
Can I use going out?
Yes. We go out a lot.
We go out.
Yeah.
We go out a lot. Now, that's a very new experience to most parents.
Okay, yes.
Right? Because in this generation, things happen outside. We must be seen, as we all say.
Yeah.
We have to be outside. So having that conversation with my parents to go out, be it at night, be it movies, be it just stepping out of the house was a very difficult one.
Yeah, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Have us.
Yeah, what is it that you want to do outside
that
there
you cannot
that you can't do in the house? My parents once mentioned, where are you going to watch movies outside? When we don't have a TV.
Well done. I would ask the same.
You would?
Yes.
Crazy. That's a very crazy thing to ask. But having that conversation about leaving the house and doing things without them was crazy to them. They could not understand. And because nowadays hanging out with our friends is not coming to have play dates in the house, is to do things outside. Some people even pressured, honestly, to like be outside. So having that conversation, at some point, honestly, for me, I had to overstep. You said no, okay.
So I'll apologize. Like, tell us.
I'll apologize later.
Oh, okay. So it's easier to say sorry, to ask for forgiveness than to get permission.
Exactly.
God forbid. Tell us.
Yeah.
So how did you overstep? What did you do?
For example, before, like when I was 17, I would use sleepovers. I would go to a house where I know the parents are okay with doing certain things. And I'll make sure before I plan, because we start planning along like a while back before we even decide to before we decide to leave, we know, okay, today is the 16th. On 22nd, I'm supposed to be outside. So I'm going to make sure before even that 22nd, my parent has met this person and other parents, so we are interacting. So when it comes to asking for a sleepover, it's like, no, I don't know that person, because that's another thing with sleepovers.
Yes, exactly.
Parents need to know whose house you're going to, which parent, and all
their
that.
Values.
Exactly. So we had to plan that. So when I'm allowed to go for the sleepover, I'll go there, and then from there, I'll go wherever I'm going.
The movie. Well done.
I'll go for the movie. I'll do whatever, because they're not going to ask you, what are you doing in Annie's house? And when you come back, you'll be like, we watched movies, we enjoyed ourselves, and all that. That was then, like before I had before I turned the legal age to be outside. Now when I turned 18, don't listen to parents, especially parents, children. Please kindly, if you're below 18 and your parent tells you when you turn 18, you're gonna do this. No.
Okay.
No. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a very huge lie. There are some things you still have to fight because they are still not used to them controlling your decisions. So when I turned 18, I was still trying to exercise now that legal, right? I can do these things. I would still force my way. I've gotten in trouble several times because I would do the thing ask for permission. Ask for permission later. I'll go. I'll just say, sorry, Mom, I went. I'll accept my grounding. I have been grounded for 7 months before.
7 months. But the fun does not
I have a story to tell. I can go and say, yay, let me tell you what I did. Like, I was grounded for 7 months.
Wow. I like this thinking pattern. Were we ever like that?
Not many of us were like that. Not many of us were like that.
Because I think it's some bravado, you feel like accomplished.
You must annoy your parents a bit. Kasirishe kidogo.
I had a friend and their brother would sneak out. So everyone, they have said prayers at night and then they have gone to sleep. Somehow he would get his way out. But then come back like at 6:30. So what he would do, he would throw his jammies outside at the gate. And so when he comes in the morning, put on his jammies and takes a broom and he's sweeping the compound. So when the mother comes out, she's like, oh my God, look at my son.
Example.
My son.
Ready to marry somebody.
You have been sleeping now to the other children, comparing
and
them.
He woke up and started cleaning up even in his pajamas.
And so he would say, me, I'm tired. Now can I go sleep? He's treating the hangover or the fatigue from last night. It's such wisdom. I'm like, what kind of brain do you guys have?
What was that thing that they used to say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
The more you restrain somebody, the more creative they will become.
Oh my God.
I mean, young people's brains are always working something out.
Yeah.
And so if they need to get out, they will do what it takes to get out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Many times we make the mistake of comparing. Like when you have two children.
Yes.
You start saying, why can't you be like so-and-so?
Yeah.
But this is who I am. Why can't you be like, this is who I am? And so when you're being forced to be something that you're not, you will have to look for creative ways to express yourself.
Wow.
Creative ways to bring yourself out. And that's why. I mean, and so I don't even think it is so much boldness as much as
invention,
the creativity, survival.
Oh yeah, it's survival.
It is survival.
Every animal needs to survive. Yeah, it's a jungle.
Yes, exactly.
I want to take us back a bit, and maybe Najma, you'll also contribute to that. So you gave us the 3 parenting styles, but I want to know, if I'm a young person and I have reached now, maybe getting married and stuff, what kind of spouse do I become? Having grown with either, as you'll give either of us, do I become even from an authoritarian, laissez-faire, or solo parenting? So what kind of spouse do I become? And what kind of parent do I become? And then, because now that looks like another vicious cycle happening.
Well, it depends on whether there have been any interventions.
Yeah.
So all things remaining constant and you continue in that trajectory.
Yes.
You will respond in an individual way. So let's say you were brought up by an authoritarian parent because I said so.
Yes.
You might have hated it so much and just been biding your time until when you'll be able to escape, and you'll say, I'll never bring up my children like that.
Yeah.
So you end up being a permissive parent because you don't want the hard rules that you had. You don't want to bring your children up like that. So you end up being really easy.
Yeah.
What you call in the laissez-faire and whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can end up being very permissive, or you could look back and say, but look at me, it worked.
Yes.
And so you become the same
person.
Yes. That's where we keep looking back and saying, hey, your mother spoke.
I know, yes.
You can hear your parenting, both mother and father. So that's what may happen. Now, in terms of what spouse you become, you can't tell what spouse you will become until you're a spouse.
Yes.
Because there's something about marriage or that relational space that then uncovers your character. Wow. So I could be one thing when single, but the minute I hook up with somebody, something else just comes.
Yeah.
Because now that's where, if I'm authoritative as authoritarian, as a spouse, as a person, then I marry somebody who's equally authoritarian. What are we going to do? This will be the house of rules.
Yes.
And we shall partner together to be the generals in this house of ours.
Wow.
Or we may fight for that that authority or that position. I'm the one who disciplines the children. You don't know what you're doing. So then the other one could be, who will you marry? Let's say you marry somebody who's very permissive. You're going to have fights.
Yeah.
Because the authoritarian one does not want somebody permissive.
Yes.
So you start having conflict at spouse level. When you have conflict at spouse level, you breed manipulative children. Because then they need to know, let's get them fighting so that us guys, they won't see what's going on here. So it's really, really important that no matter what your parenting style, as you're working on getting it to be the healthy, authoritative one, get to the place where you understand you're partnering in this relationship, this parenting relationship.
It has a personality of its own.
It has a personality of its own.
Yeah.
There's a marriage relationship and there's a parenting relationship.
Wow.
And those are two different things. We try to make everything the same thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes even when your marriage is not working, ensure that your parenting is working.
Stop it. Repeat that again. If your marriage is not working, ensure your parenting is working. Yeah. Because that is actually going to have a huge impact on now what you're saying, the future generations. Yeah. So just because I'm not in good terms with my spouse, does not mean that now my rule changes to get back at my spouse. And you use the children.
And we are using the children. Because guess what will happen? The children will know that that's how it works in this house. And so it becomes, okay, let's see how to make sure that these two are at loggerheads.
Colliding.
Because as long as they're colliding, they collide, they avoid each other. There's a nice gap in the middle for me to get by and do what I want.
Yeah.
And that's when it ends up being very easy for such situations to come.
Yeah.
Because then, and I'm not sure it happened exactly that way at hers, but you'll find dad and mom have fought. So mom wants peace. Child comes and says, can I go for a sleepover at so-and-so's place?
No.
Yes.
Oh, but okay, mom is okay.
Yeah, see, mom wants peace.
Yeah, oh, mom, okay. Yes.
So go.
Yeah.
Dad comes and says, but we said there are no sleepovers in this house.
Yeah.
And the mom is looking like, okay, you
do
say
your worst.
You do what you want. I have decided. So because they are fighting, the kid just gets to slide through. And that's how it really affects the family space. But then what does that do for the child? It ends up making them very insecure. Right? Because you don't know when things are going to be good. You don't know when they're going to be like this. You feel as though your relationships have to be manipulative. So you end up also being a manipulative person. Right? And so we end up perpetuating these unhealthy relationships. It doesn't have to be exactly the same generation to generation, but one generation can skip and now you see it in the next generation because of the correcting. I was brought up like this, therefore I don't want it to be like that. And then you do it that way, then it ends up being wrong. Then the child starts doing something different. And so we all get caught up in this whole mess. Yeah.
Ah, God. And so it continues and continues.
To eternity.
And then now we bring our problems at therapy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Tell me, if in this age, advise us, how best do we build trust with you to tell you, we love you, we know you can make good decisions because we have raised you well, but how do we earn trust with each other? I'm assuming if I was your mom, just bad assumption, and I've seen a pattern of, oh, I'm sorry, and grounding. I'm sorry, grounding. I mean, there's only so much I'm sorry I can say, and so much grounding. Yeah. So how do you earn my trust? How do I earn your trust?
It stems down to communication for me.
Back to communication. Yeah.
Share your views, I share mine, and we see where we can come and meet in the middle.
Yeah.
That's, I can say, how we can build trust. Also, when something happens, don't go ahead and just punish me just like that. Like, again, go back to having conversations with me, find out as to why I did this and this for me to for whatever action I did to be done. What else can be done, really?
But just the speed, light travels faster than sound. So between hitting you and communicating at discipline level, a lot might have happened. Yeah. So how do I future-proof? How do I future-proof that relationship? So because you're saying, even before I discipline you, we are back to going to other people's houses deserves 10 strokes. Or no money.
I'm not saying no consequences.
Yes.
You can
still so there are consequences.
Yeah, there are consequences. But I would sit down and talk to your child. Sit down and talk to us. Ask us, why exactly. I'm gonna use the going out. Why did you sneak out of the house? Like why?
Understand your thought process.
Understand what happened. Maybe, for example, I came and I asked you, and the first thing was to say no. You didn't even listen to me. Didn't hear where I was going. Nothing. So I'm gonna take things to my own. I'm going to do things my way then.
Yeah.
So that is where I would say the parents to sit down and have a conversation and find out why the kid did whatever they did before punishing. Then from there you can decide what consequence you want to give your child. I was told, so what punishment do you want for yourself? You may pick the grounding. Don't beat me. You can ground. You can ground me. Yeah. But see, now from that came from having a conversation. And also another thing I would say is learning to take responsibility on both for your actions on both sides. Yeah. So if a parent has wronged you or done something that has caused an action, even them to realize, even by there I've done this. Yeah. And it has caused the kid to do this, or it caused me to do this. So learn to say sorry. Parents, please learn how to tell your children sorry.
To say sorry.
Say sorry.
No, it's better I buy you a gift, a new phone, something.
That's good. You can add it on top of the sorry.
On top of the apology.
That's on top of the,
Why is an apology a big deal from a parent?
Because it shows you can also see the wrongs that you've done to us.
Yeah.
It shows that you're owning to the mistake you've done to us. And
Your
it shows
to this.
to the contribution, and
the
it
choice.
shows, it shows that I can, since you've apologized to me, I can come next time in case of anything that's going to happen. I can come to you and I can talk to you about it. In case you've shouted at me, I can come and be like, hey, mom, yesterday you shouted, and I was not happy with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it opens up the channels of communication.
Yeah.
Just saying sorry, and
Just
then also
sorry.
it makes you human.
Yeah.
But are African
Not that's
parents
just that
human?
that parent who, if I go and tell mom this, the first thing they'll do, oh my God, they'll beat me.
Yeah.
But see, if you do something small and I come and I tell you, mom, this happened, is, for example, bullying. I'm going to just take examples out of my head. If I come and I tell you, mom, somebody bullied me, and your reaction was very hostile, and your first thing was to do was just shout at me, anything that was to happen again outside there, I won't communicate with you. I'll just keep it to myself. So you being able to apologize gives that your child peace of mind that if something was to happen to me, I can run to my parents and I can be able to have a conversation with them.
Okay.
But that's actually saying that I think when you started, you talked about this being on Ephesians 6:4.
Yes.
Do not
Parents
exasperate.
do not. Yes.
Right?
I'm never able to say that word.
Exasperate.
Say it again. Yes.
Do not exasperate your children.
Yes.
That's what exasperating is. This child is trying to communicate something and they can see you made a mistake. You're wrong. It doesn't hurt to say sorry.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't hurt to say, okay, I'm sorry that the first thing I did was shout. Right? And back again to that I really hate the African parent thing.
Yeah.
That African parent thing that we say.
It's an excuse.
It's an excuse for bad manners.
Yeah.
It's an excuse for the exasperation space that we end up being in. Because then it means that what you're telling your child is that they don't matter.
Oh, God forbid.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
You have to be right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they don't matter. So here's the thing. Don't wait then to hope to have a relationship with them when they know they are right. Because when they know they're right and they know you're going to insist on being right, then they don't need to be whatever. Okay, you're right.
They resign. Like,
fine. Do whatever.
Yeah.
Even if I talk to mom.
Yeah, even if I say what she
it doesn't matter because I'm actually going to be wrong. I'm the teenager. There's something wrong with me or whatever I say and everything.
Yeah.
So they don't talk. And one time you will want to talk to them and they forgot how to talk to you.
No.
So it's no longer rebellion or refusing to talk. They actually do not know how to talk to you. Yeah.
How to speak to me.
No, because I don't know how to speak to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you're going to react. So to reduce my anxiety
and my fears,
nobody wants to be called names. Nobody wants to be shouted at all the time. Nobody wants to be misunderstood. So the best way to avoid being misunderstood is don't put anything on the table to be understood or misunderstood. Yeah. So disengage.
Today we've been talking about raising teens, and we've had the expert in the room. Her name is Najma Thande. She has opened up just a bit about what it means to be a teenager and a young adult in such an evolving world, how her contribution to us as young parents, as a young mom or as a young family, and how you can handle parenting relationships and building trust. We've also had time to speak to Coach Shalom Munyiri, an author, motivation speaker, parenting coach, and so many things therein. But her greatest gift and passion is just ensuring thriving families intergenerationally. That is kind of hard from where I come from. So in this last segment, I want to pick it up from where we left, where we're talking about trust and making time. How does that look like? Because sometimes we as young parents or as young people just starting out, we may think spending time is taking them to the bouncing castle or organizing play dates, but the child or the teen or the young adult has a different perspective about that. So Najma, tell me, now we have built trust, we have communicated. As a parent, I have said sorry. So how does creating time look like?
It can be as small as eating dinner together. Yeah, we can sit down, even though we've cooked ugali, sit down and we cut out ugali and eat together.
So like once a week or twice a week?
Meal time, dinner time.
All of them. All 7 days in that 1 week.
Yeah, it can be as simple as that.
Yeah.
Doing drives, like just doing things I would do with my friends but with my parents.
I love that.
Basically.
What you do with your friends but you do it with your parents.
Yes.
So if it's a girl and we can do money, pedicure dates, let's do that. If it's a son and their dad, let's go to the barber shop for those few minutes.
Yeah.
Together, let's talk about money, budgeting together.
Small conversations, watch movies together in the house. You can leave the house and go. Usually you plan a movie date at the cinemas and come back. So small things count.
As our unit, not the village, our unit.
Just us. Yes. And that can also extend now to the extended family. The closer you all become.
Yeah.
But
in a world that wants us guys versus you guys, it's such a hard balance. And I guess that's where then Coach Shalom comes in. Because we have to trust this village. The village has issues.
The village has issues.
Yes.
But you see, the village used to be people that you are related to.
Nam.
The village does not have to be people that you're related to.
Yeah.
It is people that you spend time with.
Wow.
Right?
That's hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah. So I get to choose who my village is.
Come on.
It doesn't have to be my next door neighbor. It doesn't have to be my blood relative. It is somebody who I share values with, whom I share values. Somebody who I could entrust my child to. So even when Najma is saying that we are close and everything else and we've known each other for a long time, what we're not mentioning here, and I guess because it's not a family gathering, her mother has been mother to my daughter.
I love it. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
It ends up being a very symbiotic relationship. Is then my daughter knows that if she can't reach me for whatever reason, she can reach her mother.
Wow.
When I'm not available, or when, like I've traveled or something, the sleepover will be in their house. When they need to run away from home, they will come to my house. We're not related by blood. We are related through love, through values, and that's what the village will be, right? Other people you can have in the village are people who are going to add on something that you do not have. What did the village contain or take previously? Is people who, when they bring their skills and resources together, the whole village survives. So the village is going to have somebody who's very good in finance. We have somebody in our village, our common village, who's always boosting these girls when it comes to matters finance.
I love
sponsoring them for training, making sure that they're having those conversations. I won't do finance. Me, I'll do the psychological wellness. Money, let's worry about money another day. That kind of thing. But because that's not my strength, then I bring in somebody with that strength. They don't have to be my relative. Once upon a time, the extended family and relatives used to do that. But then pain also came from there. So we need intentionality with building a village, means picking the characteristics you want in that village. And you can do that.
And it's a nice buffet. I want finance.
Exactly.
Self-esteem.
Adventure. I'm an introvert. Somebody else wants to go dancing. I don't want to go dancing. Okay, Nani can take my kid dancing. Or go do the manicure and all those other things with them, kind of thing. And what that also does is build trust. So when I show my daughter that I'm not the only person who can answer all her problems. The SI unit. The source of the source, and they can go to somebody else, then they trust me to have their interests at heart. I'm not there to solve everything, because that now becomes about me. But when I can direct them to other people or other places, then they trust me with their wellness. Because they have seen you practice it. It's not preach water and you drink wine. Exactly. Wow. And you're also modeling it. And you're showing, at the end of the day, trust me with what's good for you. I don't have to be the one providing it. But I want the best for you. Trust gets built there also. I think that's a challenge to us as even as we think, even as a young adult, a young person. I now start being deliberate about who am I surrounding myself with? Can I trust this person with myself? Even, I was at an event, someone introduced someone to someone and they asked me, can I be safe with them? And I thought, oh my God, that is such a
big question, light bulb moment, because safety now is not natural, and it's both mentally, physically, and other alleys. But as we close, Najma, I want you to give us a parting shot. You have said so much. You've allowed us into your world, and I must say first, Baba and Mama Najma, receive your flowers. You have raised an outstanding citizen, an outstanding person who adds value to this world. So thank you very much. So give us a parting shot as a young person, a young girl pursuing what you love. I
would say, parents, listen to your children. Some of these things that are happening out there, they're new. They're scary. Very. Very scary. Yeah. And with the kind of generation we are, we really don't take things at face value. So you'll find us being in situations where you question so many things. I would just say listen to them. Be there for them. Support them where you can. That's what you guys with.
I love that. So you want us to support you, to listen to you.
Listen.
And listening is everything. Audio, visual, what you're presenting, and what is in your heart. Everything. How you're dressing, how you're talking, who you're bringing to the house, Thank you very much, Najma, and for being here. Shalom, please, wrap it up. Put the bow on the box.
Oh, wow. Decorate it.
Yes.
Make it pretty.
Yeah.
This box is too small for all the things that we could have talked about.
That's true.
There's a whole lot more. In fact, I'm just thinking, wow, there's a whole lot more.
There's a lot.
We would have loved. However, when we look at this generation and say they're bold and everything else, we raise them that way.
That's right.
I think we need to understand that we raise them asking questions, and we would answer the questions when we were asked. And so what would happen is they grew up expecting answers. And then we look at what else has happened around their environment, social media. Whereas when we grew up, we could be done that thing that, you're in our house. It is us, our unit. Right now, something happens in the US, something happens in Timbuktu. We know about it before the news media.
Yes.
As a young person. And so you find that parents are no longer the holders of information.
That's right.
It's not just Google that took over. It's Twitter, it's TikTok, it's everything. As a therapist, I sit down and some clients come and tell me, I saw this on TikTok, so why aren't you doing it that way? So my competition is not another therapist or a book or a theory. It is somebody who has started a video or some whatever and is giving that information.
Yeah.
So if we are not keeping up and listening and learning, you're going to be irrelevant. You're going to be useless. You're going to be the kind of person where somebody does not need to be bold to ask questions. They just need to ask a question and you are of no use. So even when they're saying, sit back, we got you. There are those who, it's sit back, we got you. And there's those sit back, we don't need you. There's a difference. And that's what I think, if we don't build the relationship within the family, will happen. So what would I say in a nutshell? We can't have enough of these conversations. I think this, and I'm hoping that this is to trigger more conversations.
Yes.
So people are writing back to you and giving you feedback and saying, what would you like us to talk about? Then you can narrow down on the different issues that are going on with family. So that we talk. Back again to where we started. It's communication that's causing a lot of these problems. How can we get to a place where we're talking about these things, bonding with each other? Just because she's grown up does not mean that we can't hang out together. We tend to neglect children at a particular age. We say now they can do things on their own. Then we get surprised when they're doing things on their own, So the bonding, communication, if we can do a whole lot more of that and have many more of these conversations, I think we'll solve a lot of the conflict that we are seeing in family.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Being present, supporting.
Intentionally.
I mean, even going back and saying, here is your black t-shirt, or here
wear this. Today is colorful, do colorful. Today is black, do black. They need
money.
purple.
You need money.
or bail money.
Yes.
I'm just hearing my parents, my grandparents, and how that reaction would have been.
Yeah.
But not just being exposed and seeing it. I'm like, it's a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
So, viewers, my listeners, we have spoken a lot, but the bottom line is communication, trust, and build a village. Pick what you like. They say it takes a village to raise a child. So if it just don't be an ATM bank, it's not about the bills, it's not about the education, but it's also about the matters of the heart. It's about the software of the person that you are raising. If you want us to continue this conversation, please find us on all our socials, reading as Family Media. Will be more than excited to get back to you, with you, at you, and continue this conversation. Details will scroll over. Details, you'll have them on as a post as well. And you can reach us if you want to find Shalom, if you want to find Najma for your younger teens. You can let us know and we will get back to you. I finish with the words of Ephesians 6 that says, fathers, and those I think into brackets, mothers. Do not
exasperate.
That's why. Do not provoke
your children to anger.
Your children to anger, but raise them with the instruction of the Lord. From me and my wonderful guests, Shalom and Najma.
Thank you.
It is cheerio, and see you next week.